I hit the vest.
Now at 11, an L.A. County Sheriff's deputy shot in the back while sitting on his motorcycle at a red light. He's alive tonight because of his bulletproof vest. The motor officer calling in to report the shocking shooting. The gunman tonight on the run. Eyewitness News reporter Amy Powell live in West Covina with new details on the investigation. Amy.
Mark, as you can see, the investigation is continuing here at the scene. A bulletproof vest saved this deputy's life. Now investigators are trying to find the person who shot him, someone the sheriff describes as a threat to public safety. An intense search underway for the gunman who shot an LA County Sheriff's deputy in the back at this West Covina intersection. Deputy Samuel Espuro was taking part in training. He was in uniform, sitting on his black and white police motorcycle. Around 2:45 this afternoon, he was waiting at a red light at North Barranca Street and East Garvey when the suspect opened fire.
The deputy did an amazing job of putting out emergency broadcasted information.
ABC 7 obtaining the audio. Incredibly, the injured deputy calls in his own emergency.
I've been shot. I hit the vest. Let me get 902. Our vehicle went westbound on the 10 freeway from Barranca, Garvey and Barranca.
Deputy Espuro, a 43-year-old married father of two and a nearly 20-year veteran, was rushed to Pomona Valley Hospital for treatment. Authorities say his bulletproof vest saved his life.
Thank God the bullet did not penetrate his bulletproof vest. Based on the examination of his vest, he was struck once. And I'm very grateful to say that he is currently listed in stable condition.
A witness to the shooting gave police information about a possible suspect vehicle. They tracked it to a neighborhood in the La Puente area where deputies briefly detained several people but didn't locate the gunman.
Right now, there is somebody out there armed with a firearm who shot one of our deputies in the back. And if he's willing to do that, I'm sure he's willing to shoot at anybody else.
Investigators are combing through video and asking the public for information about the shooting or a car seen leaving the area.
A white sedan with tinted windows, last seen westbound on the 10 freeway from Barranca. Please, we need to hear from you.
And a deputy was shot near Mooresville. Deputies first responded to a scene around 7:40 yesterday morning. Authorities believe the suspect shot and killed himself. The deputy was rushed to the hospital, but is doing okay. The shootout happened on Northampton Drive near Mooresville. Queen City News reporter Shakira Speaks has details on the investigation.
Shock is the first word that comes to mind, but I'm still processing.
Mooresville neighbors are wondering what led up to authorities being in front of their homes early Saturday morning. They say it's something they've never experienced.
Very middle class. Everybody pretty much keeps themselves when it comes to keeping up the neighborhood.
Local authorities responded to a call about a man, quote, acting crazy around 7:40 Saturday morning from the man's family members. When fire personnel arrived, the man, identified as Dylan Rober Maslin, waved a knife at them, forcing them to call in the sheriff's office. Deputies say they heard yelling inside the home as they entered the home on Northampton Drive. That's when they were met with gunfire from Maslin. Sheriff Darren Campbell says deputies shot back at the suspect. Deputies attempted to communicate with Maslin, but he continued to fire additional shots at authorities, damaging police vehicles and injuring a deputy. Officials sent a robot inside the home and found Maslin in an upstairs room, dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Thank goodness that all the responders are okay. That was good news to hear, but the fatality does weigh heavily because it's a neighbor. It's somebody you've probably seen 4 or 5 times.
The injured deputy was released from the hospital and expected to be okay.
Just keep those who were affected in prayer. I think that's the only thing we can do is call to a higher power, when things that we can't understand, we can't fathom. And just thank whoever was involved who, didn't let it get escalated.
For now, reporting in Iredell County, Shakira Speaks, Queen City News.
Messages of support coming in from law enforcement agencies across the state. Corpus Christi Mayor Paulette Guajardo.
We're devastated by it, and it is a stark reminder, of the critical role that our police officers play on a daily basis. They never know what they're going to encounter.
Hicks was among the officers who arrived at the Summer House Apartments Saturday morning, where they responded for a call about a disturbance. It's where they found a 26-year-old man at the door of an apartment where a struggle ensued. The man then shot Officer Hicks. One of the other responding officers returned fire, killing the suspect.
Officers will be on administrative leave, as is protocol, while we work through the process for, going through the specifics of the call and the crime scene, and for their mental health and making sure they're okay.
Hicks, a 2-year veteran of the police department. Among those offering their support tonight, members of Chick-fil-A at Staples and McArdle. Officer Kyle Hicks is a cherished member of the Bonteo and Chick-fil-A families. He has displayed unwavering dedication to the Corpus Christi community through the various roles he has held over the years.
The outreach that we have had from the community, whether it's texts, phone calls, the Facebook comments have been unbelievably supportive.
Scott Leeton is the president of the Corpus Christi Police Officers Association and is also asking the community for continued prayers.
It's in the hands of God, and so that's the first and foremost thing in the way of support that the community can do for the officer, his family, and the department.
On a GoFundMe account for the officer's family, it states that Hicks is married to his high school sweetheart and is a father to 4 beautiful children. Following the lunch hour Monday, that fundraising effort reaching well over $60,000.
A police officer and suspect are injured after a shootout in Torrance. A police officer and suspect are injured after a shootout in Torrance. Gunshots waking people up early this morning along Torrance Boulevard near Anza. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf, he's live there tonight with more. Matthew?
Marwa, this is a massive crime scene. Right now we're looking towards Torrance Boulevard. You can see police are still here about 14 or 15 hours after this shooting. And right now we're learning more about the suspect, and some that live nearby say it's scary. An urgent investigation underway in Torrance into a police shootout. Early Thursday morning, a Los Angeles police officer grazed by a bullet. Authorities shooting a man wanted for child abuse.
We're lucky that this resulted in a minor injury to an officer in this case, but sometimes we're not that fortunate.
The U.S. Marshals, LAPD, and Torrance PD all here for a felony warrant at a home on Torrance Boulevard.
I heard a couple gunshots.
Neighbors around 4 a.m. waking up to gunfire, now learning someone nearby is accused of felony child abuse.
I take care of my nephew who's going to be 3 in June, and it's like if that's the case, that close to the house, it's like, that's awful scary.
It's just a very odd situation.
Martin Lombardi lives just a few homes down, an area he considers safe.
They roll up the sidewalks here, pretty early. It all just goes dead quiet, and it starts up again when people go to work.
We're at Torrance Boulevard in Anza. This is a major intersection in the city of Torrance. It's been closed now about 13 hours.
No area is safe anymore, including Torrance.
Authorities unable to release much information about the man wanted for felony child abuse.
We're not releasing anything related to his criminal history.
A massive crime scene in the heart of Torrance.
It's very close to home, especially with the shooting. And then knowing that there was a felon in our neighborhood, it is scary.
Both the officer and the suspect are expected to be okay. No word tonight on when this road will reopen. We're live in Torrance. Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Officers knew who they were looking for when they were called out to this DoubleTree. Officers knew who they were looking for when they were called out to this DoubleTree Suites, and when they found their suspect, a shooting broke out sometime after 3 p.m. Officers tasked with investigating internet crimes against children were on one of these floors at the DoubleTree Suites when they opened fire Wednesday afternoon.
They're kind of going through room to room, talking with people on the 5th floor and stuff like that.
Art says he traveled from Portland, arriving here just minutes after shots rang out.
I was trying to come in to check in, and I was pulling in. I had 5 cops behind me, thinking they were coming for me, but thankfully not. But yeah, just heard everything that was going on, and been here since about 3:30ish now, waiting to get in.
Seattle police say 3 officers were involved, the suspect shooting one of them in the leg, and at least 2 officers pulled out their guns, shooting and killing the suspect. Sergio Hosseini was in the lobby when bullets were fired.
How many gunshots did you hear?
I think between 7 or 9.
Hosseini says when he realized this was an active shooting, he tried to help others escape.
And there were small kids said, yeah, come on here, you have to hide. We hide, and I hide there, and they follow.
Hosseini and the group he was with eventually found their way to safety in the hotel parking lot.
Soon after, maybe less than a few seconds, I got the direction of the exit and crawled for about 20 feet and escaped.
While investigators were on scene, parts of the hotel were shut down. We did reach out to the owners, and we are still waiting to hear back. If we hear any more updates about this investigation, we'll bring that to you on air and online at fox13seattle.com. For now, in South Center, Nia Wong, Fox 13 News.
We are learning developing new details tonight about the officer-involved shooting, the first to happen in Albany in nearly 20 years, that left the suspect dead and an Albany police officer hospitalized.
Both the officer and suspect have been named, along with the potential motive surrounding mental health. News 10 ABC's Anthony Krolikowski joining us live in the studio with more. Anthony.
Casey and Trishna, the officer who initiated the attempted traffic stop was identified as Jonathan Dampier. He was recovering after being shot by 28-year-old Emil Leani. Officer Dampier is said to be in high spirits after a successful surgery. Albany police say Officer Dampier approached a car driven by Leani after a high-speed chase. What happens next is described by police as an ambush, as Leani comes from behind the car and fires a gun. Fellow officers arrived to North Main Avenue and Western Avenue in seconds. They say Dampier was able to fire back.
The suspect in this case sustained a graze wound to his body that was consistent with a gunshot.
But officials say this was not the cause of death.
The coroner has certified a death certificate that indicates that Mr. Leani died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head.
At a press conference Wednesday afternoon, Chief Hawkins said the suspect had a troubled past.
Mr. Leani was on probation from Albany County, out of Albany County, for a reckless driving misdemeanor conviction. He's had police contacts in Troy and in Colony.
At the scene, the suspect had 2 illegally possessed 9mm handguns, and investigators found 1 ghost gun at his Albany address. Albany Mayor Kathy Sheehan hinted at why this shooting happened.
The assailant in this case had a history of mental health issues. We need to ensure that we are doing more to address the mental health crisis that exists.
Police purposely stopped the body camera footage before Leani was shot out of respect for his family. The same for Officer Dampier and his family, as they say he was in agonizing pain. Chief Hawkins did not want them to relive that trauma. Albany PD has a mental health wellness program for officers and their families who deal with these violent incidents.
They're there to assist them in dealing and coping with this incident because, like I said, it's traumatic. We haven't had an officer in this department be struck by gunfire in over 20 years.